This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFull TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Monaco. If people are wondering what that line is running just above Adam's head, that is actually the glass. It's not like a washing line or anything. It does look like a washing line running across your head. You love it here, don't you?
Do you? It's nice. Sunny, right?
Very scenic. Pretty cold, people don't realise.
Is this the intro? I don't know. How's this one going to go? Is this the intro?
This is just me and you talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
I'm just talking about Monaco, where we are. I'm trying to set the scene for
Groom
people.
us into
Why do you use these weird words? You don't use that word.
Like you made this really official start where you mention MTK and the whole introduction, and then you start talking about washing lines, and that's the start of this chat that's supposed to, that you said was an interview.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
That's your style, isn't it?
Roll with it.
That's the style that you have evolved. Basically, it's just no style.
No style.
No style is no style.
If in doubt, just
wing it.
Wing it. Why not? Winging it since 2010, so you know. But I'm still sitting here in Monaco with you, so I'm doing something right. You've got Harlem Eubank on the bill.
Yeah.
We spoke to you about Harlem Eubank. How did the link up come about?
I've known Harlem for a few years, and it used to come to gym and spa when Chris Jr. was training, and he took himself away, put himself through some hard sparring in America, and just desperately wanted to become a better fighter and a pro, and then started speaking to him recently, and here we are.
Simple as that. Any awkwardness?
In what sense?
Well, because you used to train his cousin.
Balance? Oh no.
And didn't work out, obviously, and nothing, no awkwardness there.
We'll be working together. It was awkward.
No. But I mean, this is the first time I saw Harlem fight the other day when he fought at York Hall. But before I saw him fight, I just thought, if you're training him, he must be good. That was my thought process. That's probably a compliment to you somewhere there.
Okay, careful.
Well, I'm just saying.
Carried away with this.
I'm just saying. But you believe he's a talent?
Yeah, he's definitely got ability, and he's definitely determined and disciplined. He's a young man, but he's a charming young man as well. Comes across really well. He's intelligent, forward-thinking. He's a type of young fighter that's interesting to work with.
Could you tell without knowing his name that he's kind of a Eubank?
Only when he somersaults the rope and throws some shapes. He does throw some familiar shapes, but not too many.
What can you tell us about his opponent this week?
Tough French kid. He's boxed Ivan Mendy and Luke Campbell. I think he's 12 wins, 8 losses. Only time he was stopped was by Luke Campbell. But lost on points to Ivan Mendy, who beat Luke Campbell, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm hoping for a good, tough, competitive 4-rounder for him. Just
a flashback to Belfast now. We traumatised James Helder for 24 hours, I believe.
Who did?
You did.
How?
Let's not go into it.
James was sensitive.
But he got you in the end.
As I was leaving.
As you were leaving, you and Ryan, which kind of made his whole weekend.
Well, we went to the hospital, and he was a bit bent out of shape that we went to the hospital prior to doing the
I'm sure he was.
The IFL interview. No,
Sure
it was a little bit.
wasn't.
I had to explain it to him the next morning at breakfast that we went to hospital because of the discomfort that Ryan had and the fact that he was exhausted. And he kind of, all right then, but it was only just all right that he had to go to hospital and not do the interview.
It was
the dope testers didn't mind.
It's like, I don't know, having a birthday cake with no candles if he didn't get you, if that makes any sense.
It makes no sense.
Well, you know what I mean. It's like
Nonsense it makes.
No, but Ryan unifying the titles in Belfast and
you didn't get it.
He did get it because he got you the next day.
Morning, yeah. It was nothing deliberate, and James realises that he was being a bit sensitive. I think I pushed him out of the changing room.
Yes, that's actually more specifically what
that's what I did. But
yeah, listen. I said to him, if he's done that, there's a reason why he's done that. He's not being a knob. Like,
I've only just remembered I did that.
But yeah, we're both sensitive in some ways. Who's that? Del boy. Yeah, I read yesterday that Zakyanov's team are complaining. Is that right? About something to do with the drug test and.
I heard that. I heard
Yeah.
that they put in an appeal because the dope testing agency didn't take samples from Ryan, but that was the dope testing agency and the boxing board that controls etiquette. The fact is that if a boxer medically needs to be attended, that takes precedence over anything else. I didn't even think about it. I was sort of happy and half celebrating the victory, but also realizing that Ryan was exhausted and had some symptoms in his neck and his ears that could or couldn't have been something significant. So we had to get him checked. Well, the doctor decided that he had to get checked out straight away, and it was the doctor's call. It would do me.
What an unbelievable year it's been for Ryan Burnett, though. From when he won the first world title, we saw obviously what that kind of meant to you. And put it into words, what him unifying in his second fight or his first defence, unifying in Belfast. What did that mean to you?
That's about as satisfying and as it can be. You know, Ryan's still developing as a young man and a fighter and a champion. He's developing whilst being a world champion. And I think also when Bellew-Haye beat Jean-Marc Moulmet to win the WBA and WBC titles, his next fight was a unification against Enzo Macronelli. So it wasn't the first time that I'd been involved in a fighter winning a world championship and then going on and unifying other belts. It's why we're in it. We're in it for the big fights, for the big gains, taking the risks and reaping the rewards, because it just makes it all much more real and satisfying. And I'm immensely proud of him. I really am. I'm as proud of him as anyone I've been involved in, because of the manner that he did it as well.
Eddie Hearn said in the ring after his win that for him, he's going to do what he can to make sure that Ryan has his crack at the other belts. Is that the objective for Ryan now, is to secure the belts in the weight?
Well, the only objective at the moment is just to have a rest, a good long rest, because it's been a very pressured year for him. And also the preparation for not just the fight, but the preparation for the Zakyanov fight was very rough on him, because I had two big fellas constantly pressuring him and trying to draw him into a slugfest in the gym, so to speak, because I knew that was what the fight was going to be at some point. So it wasn't just a hard fight, and it hasn't just been a competitive year for him, but the preparation for this fight with Zakyanov was hard work as well. And because we're in November now, he won't fight until well after Christmas anyway, so he can have a nice, well-earned rest and just drive everywhere with the two belts around his shoulders.
Don't blame him. He was in Cardiff. Were you meant to be in Cardiff?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he said that you were meant to be there, but he wasn't. Oh. Obviously, you watched it. Brought back memories from the last Joshua fight, because obviously the last Joshua fight I was sat round your house.
Where were you this time?
3 rows from the front.
You didn't even message me.
Right.
Left me high and dry by myself, twiddling my thumbs.
Absolutely not.
Paying my 20 quid.
But I did. I sat there thinking, I'd be honest with you, I had more laugh around your house. Us all jumping up and down, reliving the night together. Me, you, Ryan, Chris Oko. It was good. And his brother. Yeah, it was
Roger.
good. Yeah, it's good. What did you make of versus stoppage, Joshua's performance, Takam's performance?
Stoppage, probably a bit unfair on Takam. His initial reaction to when it got stopped kind of showed that he was still a bit steady, but he was well behind in the fight and he wasn't going to win the fight. That was evident. And so maybe Phil was decided that with the clean shots that were landing, what was it, the 11th round? 10th round. And the fact that he didn't think he had a chance to win the fight, that he saved him to fight another day. And there's, you can't criticise a referee for protecting a fighter. He certainly wasn't going to win the fight. And so the end result was a win for AJ and a loss for Takam, and it would have been that had the referee stopped the fight or not.
if we're putting together obviously two completely different fights, but Joshua's performance against Klitschko and what we saw in that, and what we saw in the Takam fight, has your opinion about Anthony Joshua changed for the better or the worse?
It's my opinion. I wouldn't say I really have a strong opinion about Anthony Joshua. He's a world champion who's still developing. When fighters win world championships, when they're not the complete fight that they're going to be, when they're still in the learning phase of a career, you can't judge them. I've always believed that you can only judge someone's career when it's all said and done, once it's over, when the ups and downs, the good performances, the bad performances have all played out. Because everyone now wants to jump to conclusions and opinions all the time. But the fact is, he won the fight. He stopped the fella. He won every round. He's still world heavyweight champion, unbeaten, 20 fights, 20 wins,
20 KOs.
20 knockouts. So I don't know. People sometimes read too much into things. He won. It's all about winning. This sport is all about winning and entertaining, and he's certainly done his fair share of that so far.
Definitely. I think someone pointed out as well. Deontay Wilder, I think 32 or 33 fights in, fought Jason Gavin, and here in fight 19 and 20 he was fighting Klitschko and Takam. So if you're looking at sort of comparisons with the other world champions, he's not really doing anything wrong in that respect, is he?
No, but also that's not just the fighters that you're talking about, but that's the opportunity that the business is presenting.
Correct, yes.
And British boxing is at a level of an unprecedented high at the moment, with the opportunities, with the support of the broadcasters, what Eddie's doing and the way that Eddie's running his side of the business, and the fact that that Frank and BT are pushing their side as well. It all feeds for opportunity, and what we're hearing now is everyone from America now, everyone in America knows who Eddie Hearn is. Everyone around the world is recognising that Britain seems to be if not one of the most powerful nations in the sport of boxing at the moment. And with AJ as heavyweight champion, it kind of consolidates that. But he got the opportunity at a good time. He's Olympic champion, and the business has exploded at the right time for the opportunity to present itself for AJ. And then he's done his bit by winning the belt and defending the belt. That plays into it. So in answer to your question, the opportunity for Deontay just probably didn't present itself early enough. And he wasn't Olympic champion either, was he?
It's inevitable that we'll see this fight next year, surely, between Joshua and Deontay Wilder.
I hope so. It's the fight that it has to happen. It has to happen, and it would be bad if it didn't.
Do you miss them like heavyweight nights? Like you being involved in them? I don't know. I don't feel like I miss anything at the moment. I'm been fortunate enough to be involved in big nights and world championships, and still am, and I'm as happy now as I ever have been. So I wouldn't say I don't miss anything. I'm happy with what I do. Eddie knows that heavyweight championship fights aren't always fun. I remember saying to him ages ago about how his seat was going to be at the end of the night, and you watch Eddie's face during the difficult moments in AJ fights, and ask him if he enjoys those moments. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's literally, he's on that kind of level, Joshua, where, yeah, I could imagine if you had a cam on Eddie Hearn during the night, it's like, or you could read his thought process. Hey, Bellew. Same outcome or different for you?
Might be the same outcome. I don't think the Achilles tendon.
No, when I say outcome, I mean Bellew win is in same outcome or different.
I don't think there's any. In this fight. I don't think there's any predictable outcome at the moment, because there's some unpredictable elements in it. Hayes, 37 now, and coming off some career-ending injuries, and has getting himself back into fighting shape. Didn't fight or perform well last time round, and so as much as he believes he will perform this time round, there's going to be an element of the unknown in his mind. Tony won the first fight, took his licks, but Tony's about as real as anyone that I've met in boxing. He'll know that he didn't fight a fight who was 100% fit and healthy last time, so he'll be preparing for a better version of David Haye this time round. So it's an interesting one. I personally, I think this fight's more interesting than the first one. I think the first one is almost like everyone was kind of thinking, well, Haye's going to beat him. But now they're not thinking that, because he didn't beat him the first time round, and he did land some heavy shots. Wasn't able to spring off the back leg, so wasn't able to generate his full speed and power, and was too heavy. So, but Tony will know that, and he will prepare for a better version, and I think that's going to make for a better fight. I always think you have to make Haye a favourite when you match those two, because of what he has been in the past, on the understanding that he might be able to regain that condition and that type of performance level again, but we just don't know, and it's the unknown of this fight that makes it an interesting one.
And obviously David's first fight with new trainer Ismail Salas as well. How do you think that's going to work out?
I think it'll work well for him. I think he'll be happy during his training, but ultimately he is the fighter he is. Tony's the fighter he is. You've got the two coaches in Dave and Ismail who will do their jobs, but it will definitely be down to who's the better fighter on the night. I don't think that Salas has anything over Caldwell, and vice versa. I think they both know what they're doing. They both know how to adjust their thought process at the championship level, and they'll do their jobs, and it will be the better fighter that wins.
Sunday night boxing, can't wait.
Yeah.
From your side, what happened with Billy Joe and you?
What happened with him?
No, what happened? As in, he was with you and he's now training with Dominic Ingle, but I know there wasn't any sort of thing. I'm not trying to look
Billy,
for that. And
we had a chat, and Billy said that for him to have the discipline required to reach the level that he wanted to reach, he needed to move away from home, and he knew that I wasn't going anywhere because of the fighters and what I had going on, and I think he made the right decision. That he definitely made the right decision to take himself away from home, and surround himself with fighters and discipline, because he can't trust himself outside of that type of enforced situation. And that was nothing happened between us. That was just the understanding between us, that we tried it, but he realised that he needed to be a different person. He couldn't be at home and be the disciplined athlete. Can't trust himself, and so I think he made the right choice to be where he's at.
But the relationship with him and Dominic Ingle seems to be working well. So
yeah, well, I think he'll respect Dominic. Dominic's been at World Championship level, so he knows what it's about, and that's what Billy needs. He needs a coach that's been at that level, and he needs to be in a situation where he can't let himself down, because he doesn't have time to do that anymore.
What do you think about his fight with David Lemieux coming up in Canada?
It proves that it just proves what Billy is. He's a fella that will fight anyone. All this time when he was saying that he'll fight Golovkin, he would have fought Golovkin, he would have fought Triple G, but that fight never happened. David Lemieux, dangerous puncher, a bully of a fighter, and Billy Joe said, "Okay, I'll fight in Canada." It proves what Billy is all about.
Just going back to the heavyweight mix, after Anthony Joshua's win over Takam, Eddie Hearn said some interesting comments that he really wants to work next year with Tyson Fury and try and get that fight done, because that's arguably the biggest fight between two Brits we can have, would you say? Yeah. So it's a bit unclear still what that situation is regarding UCAD and everything else with Tyson Fury, but that surely again along with the Wilder fight, is a fight that needs to happen for British boxing.
And I think if Tyson wants it, I think it will happen. It's down to Tyson at the moment to want to have the fight, to want to do what he's got to do to get back in there. Because if he wants it, I'm pretty sure it will happen.
The Fury that beat Klitschko versus the Joshua that beat Klitschko. Who wins?
That's a tricky one. The Klitschko,
the Fury.
Yeah, the way that Tyson moved and jabbed in that fight will present a big problem for AJ. The way that AJ fought in the Klitschko fight, it's a good one. It's a good one. On that, I'd probably favour Tyson. If I'm taking those two performances. But when the fight comes round, they won't be those two people, will they? But if the question is based on those two performances, I'd probably go with Tyson. Just.
Yeah, I mean, relating it to the present day, obviously he's been out the ring for 2 years.
At this moment in time, you have to favour AJ without any doubt.
Yeah.
I've sat right on the fence there, haven't I?
No, it's fine. I do it every day.
If I look at the performance with the Klitschko and you just pick those two fellas up and drop them in the ring, if I had to, probably edge towards Tyson.
But as I said, Tyson's obviously got weight, so there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before this.
Totally different situation now.
Yeah. Interesting. Hopefully it does happen. All right, well, listen, I'm not going to really take too much more of your time. I know you've actually got things to do. It's been half sensible today.
No silly endings.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No silly endings.
No, I'm asking if there's anything else you want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, Eubank. Who wins? It's a great fight, isn't it?
It is. It all depends on what happens in the first 3 rounds. All depends what happens in the early part of that fight that will determine the winner.
I can see you've pondered this fight in your brain. Obviously. I feel there's more you could say or want to say.
I could say a lot about it. I don't need to. I know them both fairly well as fighters and seen them spar a lot. I know how each of them can win. I think one of them wants to fight more than the other one, but it's a great matchup, great fight.
Were you surprised that the gal is back working with Frank Warren?
Am I surprised that in boxing there's been some shifting and moving? Nah.
It did raise a few eyebrows. I mean, it came out, a week ago that he was going to be fighting on the 9th of December on Frank's BT and BoxNation show.
They kept it quiet.
Very quiet. It was very well hid because I didn't know whispers.
How quiet it was kept.
Yeah, absolutely. But listening to the gal the other day, he's obviously the thing with him and Eddie saying that he couldn't basically give the gal what he wanted for December. So, he's done what he believes to be best for his career for the immediate future. So, but he's another one, isn't it? I mean, him against the rematch of Groves or him against Eubank are massive.
Yeah. I don't see that happening now. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Because
he's with, they're with different promoters now. Well, firstly, Groves and Eubank are in the tournament.
Yes.
That's
like the next 7-8 months.
Yeah.
7 months.
And if one of them wins that tournament, that's going to catapult them to a whole new negotiating level that would then probably make the Gale rematch harder to negotiate because there'll be inflated and deflated senses of value, but it's irrelevant. You got one of the best domestic matchups in January. Is it January they're doing it or February?
More likely February, I think. Great that tournament though, isn't it?
Great because of the matchups it's going to throw up.
It's,
But you got to judge it at the end of it because you don't know. Like we've had no injuries and pullouts yet, have we? And let's hope there's not. Yeah, I reckon some.
but
might try
just
and
the
renegotiate
possibility
their
of
terms.
obviously Eubank and Groves, and then the winner possibly fighting maybe Callum Smith. Obviously, he's got to win his semi-final, but
That division's very healthy now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Listen, the cruiserweight one
Wouldn't be
ain't bad
surprised
either.
if Billy Joe slipped up to super middleweight.
Really?
You'd be surprised. The biggest fights for them, isn't it?
Currently, yeah. All right. Well, listen, this has been rather charming today. Very relaxing here. Yeah. All right, Adam.
Oh, hang on.
Go on, speak.
Who have you been running gums at over Twitter?
What does that even mean? Oh, beef.
Yeah.
Heated beef. No, that
Who's this dude?
Heavy D.
Not the rapper.
No, Heavy D, the guy who was on Big Brother and Storage Hunters. Yeah, he called me out on a video the other day. So currently,
So he called out a fellow celebrity
absolutely
for
not.
what, a white collar fight?
Yeah,
Is it going to happen?
possibly. But just my management isn't currently discussing terms with his management. No, but it's actually true. So they're in the middle of negotiating at the moment
Yeah.
because I really wanted it more on my terms. He wanted me to fight on the undercard of another show that he wasn't even headlining. So
He wanted you to fight him on the undercard.
he was already fighting on Feb the 3rd,
right. In a white collar event.
and also that, yeah, in a white collar event, but that was an undercard fight on someone else's show.
Right.
So we're making him a counter offer to fight
Yeah,
on.
you're part of a big promotional and managerial organisation.
There you go.
You can go on someone else's show for.
Absolutely.
This man ain't even in boxing.
That's what I mean. So currently, yeah. So I'm just talking to a selection of trainers at the moment, make sure I pick the right one, obviously. And
You need one that suits your style. And we would have tried that. It didn't work,
what?
did it?
No style. Yeah. So that's the current update on it. So
That's not really an update, is it? But when do you think we'll know?
I reckon the deal should be concluded within the next week or so.
And when do you envisage the event taking place?
Within the first 3 months of the year, 2018.
Can I have a ticket to come and watch it?
Well, yes, but you may not need a ticket. That's all I'm going to say.
Is that my ticket?
No, I'm just saying you may not need a ticket. You may not need a ticket, but yeah. Give me a hand, wouldn't you? It's too much of a long pause. You give me a hand, won't you?
Okay.
I'll keep you updated. Adam Booth, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. That was half hour, by the way. Time flies when you're having fun.